Well, I am here with CTS alumni, and we've been having wonderful conversation. I want to share and give you guys a chance to share a little bit because we've gotten to enjoy the conversation, but I think the community will enjoy as well. So I am thrilled to have you guys just introduce yourselves and share what year you graduated from CTS.
Okay. I'm Debra Harmon, and I graduated in 1994.
I'm Bob Harmon, and I graduated in 1995.
And I'm Kyle Harris, and I graduated in 1995.
So you guys were all at CTS around the same time, and I know the Harmons were here looking at the Century of Crossroads book, and you said, this is like looking at a high school yearbook for us. This is fantastic. And you were sharing some great stories. You two met at CTS, is that right?
Yeah, we met in Ron Allen's New Testament class, and this one came in, it was 1991, and this one came in bell bottoms and a tie-dye t-shirt, and I said, I got to get to know this one. And so when we got married, of course, we're both ministers, all we know is ministers, all our friends are ministers, so who do we get to marry us? Well, the one who started it all, we asked Ron Allen to marry us, and so we married us. By the way, I would also note, when Kyle got to seminary, I started in January of 91, and I was the youngest student there. When you got there in August of 91, you displaced me as the youngest student by a month.
Yes.
You were born in August of 69.
Yes.
So he took that title away from me. So
Wow. So
I don't know if you ever realized that or not.
were you both there? That's young then. Were you both there right out of undergrad?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And you were going to jump in here. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, but I wouldn't say I was wearing tie-dyed shirt and blue bell-bottoms, but she had a Betty Crocker outfit, and she was known for that. So, it was an interesting combination. Me kind of a hippie and her kind of the Betty Crocker type.
Betty Crocker type.
Yeah, the typical high hair and, form.
Take the microphone away from him.
But it was kind of cute, and we were so many opposites, but then
we were an odd
got
couple.
together. We were an odd couple. Yes, we were.
Couple, yeah.
Yes, we were.
But it standed the test of time.
Yeah.
And now, so can you each share where you are and what you're doing these days?
Sure. After 18 years I was in parish ministry for 18 years, but now I am a manager of spiritual care. I'm a board-certified chaplain, and I was a staff chaplain for 7 years, and then have been a manager of spiritual care for 3 years now.
And I've been in parish ministry since I was ordained in 1995, on and off, but mostly in parish ministry in lots of different places, like Virginia, Indiana. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been doing intentional interims since 2012. Currently in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, at Central Christian Church. They're doing intentional interims, but the whole time been in parish ministry, except for 4 or 5 years. I did some things outside of ministry related to anti-bullying and violence prevention in urban public middle schools in Nashville.
That's fantastic. So as you think back on your time at CTS, how did what you learned or the connections you made help form you to do the work that you're doing today?
I would say I remember mostly the relationships, the professors, like Ron Allen and Jerry Jansen and Bernie Lyon, and on and on. And then also my friends, my colleagues, my friends who became my colleagues, we keep in touch like at assemblies and on Facebook, and it's just nice to, trace their careers as the years go by, and kind of just check in with them like we're doing, like how you doing, and it's a unique experience going to seminary that only those who are there can really share and understand. So
for me, being at CTS was an example of the beloved community.
An example of the beloved
Right,
community?
And this is the image I've always carried with me of what church should be. one of the things I really appreciate about CTS was that the professors like Ron Allen, they wanted us to be not like teachers, students, but they stressed that we were part of your community. They didn't want us to use titles. We called them Ron, we called Jerry Jansen, Jerry, we called all these people. It's like we were friends and colleagues. And so that's the model I brought to my parish ministry, is that I want the people to feel that I am a traveling companion on their trip of faith. And I want it to be a friend as opposed to a pastor or anything like that. That's what I took.
And we've got lovely saw noises going in here. So just to make sure you were all able to catch that, because I know they were popping in and out. So you mentioned that this is the idea of beloved community that you imagined for the church, and that the professors really made you feel as though you were colleagues.
Yes.
And I love the phrase you used, but you said, I want my congregation to feel that I am a traveling companion with them.
Exactly. And that their faith journey is something I'm engaging with them as opposed to some kind of leading or anything like that. Kind of like the old proverb that, don't follow me, I don't know where I'm going, don't lead me, but walk with me. Walk with me on this journey of faith. And this is the strongest thing I took from the culmination of all my gleanings at seminary. And this really became the model I took into my ministry, and just the ability to walk with the members and the parish community wherever they go. It's not so much me. I mean, I can help and maybe accentuate some of their experiences, some of the things they're trying to do, but it's really their journey, and I'm joining with them on their journey.
Walk with me on your journey. I love that.
I would echo that. I think from the professors laid a strong academic foundation for us on which to build ministry, to help walk with our congregation members, give them the tools and the resources, the academic and biblical understanding of what we're trying to do as we live out the faith. It's not just the scriptures are living, so let's interpret them in what's going on now, what's going on in our lives, what's going on in our communities, and give our congregation members tools for them to do that study and that work as well, as opposed to us being the resident expert and then we have to dictate this is what it means. But that's not what they did for us. They taught us how to walk with others on their journey as well.
That's wonderful. Now, the last question I have for you, and then I'll let you get back to enjoying things. I don't want to dominate your time, but we've so enjoyed having you here. Do you have a memory from CTS that stands out? Something funny or something that, I know you mentioned those relationships, and there are moments and stories that come to mind. You mentioned living on campus and the apartments. Is there a memory you have that you would want to share with other alumni or students? We're going to have to use our pastor voices because I don't think these are going away.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that's fitting to share with other people. The one that amuses me, and I don't know if you were part of this, but one time for some reason we went into Ron Allen's office, like we somehow got on the roof and tapped on his window, and he had spooked him. It's like he saw us, and then we came into his office through his window. I don't know what we were doing or why we were doing that, but that was a fun thing. Yeah.
One of the things I found that was so nice about CTS was I got to explore past talents and new talents at CTS. One of the things I used to do was I used to sing in choir, and I got to be part of the choir there, and that was just wonderful. I used to play baritone in high school, and there were a couple people that just said, hey, let's start a brass choir.
A brass choir?
Five of us got together and started playing. And then suddenly Sue Caldwell wanted us to start playing for, different church chapel things. And then we actually started playing for graduation, commencement.
You play for commencement.
And it's just like, and just kind of building on each other. And I got to actually write for the school paper and help publish that. None of this was really things I really thought would really be part of my experience or my life, but it was so enriching. It was just like, the school was good, the education was good, but then there are the other things that really added to my experience that was very valuable.
And what a way to grow in, like you said, hone talents you know you have, but learn new talents, bringing that out with each other, and the affirmation to be able to then put that to use in the community.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And it was just part of CTS is that you have people encouraging you ahead instead of holding back. They wanted you to excel, and that was the beauty of it. I mean, Sue Caldwell, the chaplain organist, she just like saw us playing together and just said, oh, you should do this, got music and all this stuff. And then the encouragement from that was just, and I know a lot of the preaching professors wanted people to come out into chapel to preach and things like that, and very encouraging, and just help us explore the techniques or the areas that we wanted to learn more about, and just very encouraging.
I think one of the memories I have, I think we were there at a special time. There was a pipeline of students in seminary that were coming directly out of undergrad. A couple of years before we got there, and then several years after. And so we had kind of a group of about 20, 30, 40 of traditional college students moving into seminary. We brought the average age way down at the time. And doing fun things together in community, both living in the apartments, but also other things that we would do to support each other, to have fun, knowing that we used to joke that the school will tell us we have enough enough academic points to graduate, but our group is going to make sure you have enough fun points to graduate. And so we're trying to do things that would build community, that would get us out into having fun together, being young adults in Indianapolis, and so we formed special bonds that to this day we still share those bonds and connect with each other on a consistent basis.
Well, we also did some service projects. You're talking about new oak tree knots. Yeah. We did also service projects. We did things like work with community food centers and things like that. Yeah, it was just very special.
So I graduated in 2017. I was MDiv 2014 to 2017, and I think I have your classes to thank for setting that tone and furthering that in the culture, because that's very much what I experienced. That sense of we learned academically and we applied and we had these conversations, but we lived together and we lived into the community, and the fun was still there. We had a rain that came down and didn't drain fast enough in front of the apartments that made a temporary pool, and we swam in it until we saw a dead squirrel floating. Then we thought that was probably not the safest water to swim in. That ended quickly, but it was fun. And service projects. I mean, we were parts of marches. We were parts of protests, whether it was gun violence or racial injustice or immigration policies. And so thank you for sharing your stories with us.
I think one of the things also in that community, so my family growing up, Thanksgiving was a strong when we gathered as family, we gathered at Thanksgiving. Being in my first year at CTS, I couldn't get back to Oklahoma for Thanksgiving. We had a potluck together, but in the morning I went out with a group of other folks to serve at the community Thanksgiving dinner before we came back and had our own. And so those were the types of things that were great to do, that were for ourselves meaningful, but also made a difference, I think, in others' lives to be out and serve during those moments.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. I hope you have a great class reunion of sorts. We've run into many from your time, and also that you have a wonderful General Assembly. Thank you for the work you do and for being part of the CTS community.
Thank you. Appreciate it.